It's not like a FaceTime call. This is actually the reverse of a FaceTime call, meaning if I'm the homeowner and I receive the text, now I'm going to see myself large and the salesperson small. So I'll get to see, and the salesperson will have a virtual background. It's all tuned up to do a virtual estimate. And so now the customer can walk through the home, and me, or if I'm the salesperson in the call center, like, hey, I'll record everything. The entire video is recorded. I can take remote photos and tap into your camera, take high-res photos, take notes, share my screen if I need to walk you through, document, hold up your ID if I need a picture of ID. And now people are selling home services from the comfort of their call center, comfort of their truck, and it's all about speed to lead.
You have found Authentic Business Adventures, the business program that brings you the struggle stories and triumphant successes of business owners across the land. Downloadable audio episodes can be found in the podcast link found at drawincustomers.com. We are locally underwritten by the Bank of Sun Prairie, Calls on Call, extraordinary answering service, as well as the Bold Business Book. And today we are welcoming / preparing to learn from James Hatfield of LiveSwitch. We're going to talk about essentially mobile video for service businesses. Is that right, James?
That's right. I'll take you on an adventure from me being on a ladder through technology and nonprofits.
Nice. I'm excited because when your crew reached out to me, we actually could have used a service like this during pandemic times, way back in those days, right?
Oh, yeah.
For a hot minute, I was working with a guy that was putting together a remote window replacement company for your house. And getting people to understand how to count their windows, like people aren't window experts, this would have really helped so that they could just take a walk with video and the agents on our end could see what they were looking at. So why don't we start with what is the foundation? Tell us, what is LiveSwitch?
It's exactly what you're talking about, except for now people are, COVID ushered in the age of video, but now our home service businesses like window washers are using this every day, because the way window washers are doing it is they're looking at a satellite photo and then they're walking a Google street doing their best to count the windows because it's a struggle, or they have to send someone out hourly in their truck to go walk around and count windows, and that's expensive. Well, now you can just send a text to the homeowner, they can tap on it, video pops up, and they can just walk around and they don't even have to count. Just walk around the house nice and slow for us. Great. And you can do this guided, or you can do it with nobody on the other end. So now you're getting, with no apps, you're able to see what they see and do your remote and virtual estimations, amongst other things we'll talk about.
Let's start this chronologically, just because I have a lot of questions for you from the technical aspect to figure out how the little magic works in this thing. But also, how do you get involved in something like this?
Well, for me personally, I used to run painting and power washing companies over 2 decades ago. I had multiple crews. I knew what it's like to run crews, to take care of homes head to toe. And I had a bit of a problem when I was running my service business. When I went to the bookkeeper and they would speak English to me, I would nod my head and I'm like, I don't know what they're saying. Us business owner or home service owners, we find ourselves have to be business owners and we have to run everything, right? We got to hire, fire, promote, do all the books, do everything. And it can be overwhelming for owners. So I decided to, hey, I think I better go back and put myself through state school. And 20 years ago was actually affordable, not affordable anymore. But while I was learning that and running my businesses, I met another guy who was running landscaping companies and doing the same thing at a sister university. And he created this technology where you could take your income statement and balance sheet and put it into the system, and it would tell you in layman's terms how you're doing. So before the age of AI, 20 years ago, no one talked about LLMs. We said, hey, if we can use this technology that will explain to a business owner what an income statement and balance sheet, how we're doing, I wonder if other people would buy this. So I said, well, hey, I'll come off the ladder for a little bit and see if I can sell it. And what happened is we went from an incubator of a company to Inc. 500 for 3 years, meaning we're one of the fastest growing companies in the country for 3 years, and it became a multi-billion-dollar company. It still exists today.
Multi-billion with a B.
B, yes, billion. Worked out pretty well. Worked out really well. And so we ended up selling that business to KKR, had a great exit, and got into nonprofits. I launched nonprofits. My partner did as well. One of them is called Inmates to Entrepreneurs. We take incarcerated men and women, thousands and thousands of them, and put them through our program. And that ended up becoming an ABC TV show. called Free Enterprise. And that's won a
Wow.
bunch of awards. Yep. And we decided, hey, we're a little too young to hang up our boots and call it a day. Let's see if we can build another $1 billion company. And so we, instead of starting from scratch this time, we bought a company. So it's a 16-year-old company. We jumped in, and now we're building that. We've owned that now for the last 5 years, and I can tell you about that journey and how that connects us today and back to LiveSwitch. But that's kind of our adventure from being on ladders to going to financial technology to nonprofits, and now we're back into video technology.
Man, well, you introduced a few more questions now with the answer to that question. So tell me, because I guess I've interviewed a few people that are in the business exiting realm as far as helping people do that, brokers and valuation people and all that jazz. So how do you value a business that's doing revenue in the billions? That's private.
Well, for a tech company, it's looked at different than a services company, right? Service companies, when you're ready to exit, you'll probably see a 2.5, 3 multiple on your EBITDA or seller's discretionary income if you're lower than 5 million. But when you get to the $1 billion mark and your software and your SaaS model and you're getting recurring revenue, the market values recurring revenue much higher. Because as a home service, you got to keep knocking on doors, right? Or you got to keep going after business. And we'll talk about how to help your home service business become a little bit more recurring revenue as well. But for us in the software side, the market values SaaS and recurring revenue much higher, many multiples more. So you're able to get much more on your EBITDA when you're going to exit that. But you want to make sure with any exit, you get your books cleaned, you get your house in order, you get as lean and mean as you can and trim up, and then they'll end up coming in. And large company like KKR, they'll come in and they'll just reorient the business even after the purchase. So it's a little bit different when you get to that level compared to if you're selling something in the millions. But it's all kind of still walks along the same path.
All right. And do they just give you a bag of money, or was this a buyout over time?
They give you a bag of money.
That doesn't hurt.
KKR has a lot of money.
All right.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And did you reach out to them, or did they reach out to you?
It's a little bit of both, but usually they reach out to us. A lot of times when you're doing well in the market, you don't really have to reach out. People start knocking on your door because they know you have something of value. So it's more turning people away when you hit certain points in your journey.
Gotcha. Interesting. And tell me, how did you end up going into the nonprofit world instead of just starting another business or just hanging out on a beach somewhere?
Yeah, we're builders, and we like to give back. When you start to have the means and you're able, you don't have to have a lot of means. I think a lot of people think you need all this money before you start giving back. I would challenge that thinking. I don't think you need actually that much. I think you just need a heart to give and find your little niches, whether it's local, like I do a lot of local community things around here where I live in Asheville, and then national, such as inmates to entrepreneurs. And there's a big need there, and you can fill that need if you're willing to be bold and give. You always get way more back. But at the same time, it's different than for-profit. So now we're an unapologetically for-profit business that we like to grow, and we love to grow fast. We love hyper scaling businesses.
So when you had the original power washing painting businesses, businesses, I mentioned those are at a different scale, just reasonably what they can be compared to a software as a service model.
Yep.
Right? Has that been a challenge or a limitation, or is that the reason that you got out of it originally?
I was never looking to get out of it. I come from nothing. My father, he built his own home. My grandfather his dad died young and had to drop out of school and take care of the family at a tire store. So I didn't come from much. My grandfather wanted me to be a painter. And so that's what I became, a painter. I learned how to do it, apprenticed myself, and then, took the business on my own and started making ends meet and making other people's ends meet, paying other people's salaries, So I always thought I'd be there. Like I said, my problem was I couldn't understand my books. So I went back to school, and from there that connected me to other people with the same problem, and that produced a technology that my partner built, and then I'm able to take my skills from my business and apply them to this business. So a lot of transferable skills out there, but of course I had to learn different things, but I could scale way faster in software than I could in home services. It's apples and oranges when you get to that level.
No, it's interesting. Even when you look at something like the S&P 500 and the businesses that are really, dare I say, propping it up kind of thing, they're the software, the technology ones. Because you look at some of the other companies, and the other companies have a way smaller scale that they can reasonably achieve. where something that's software based or something like that, there is a limitation, but that is way higher, and the revenue versus profit, way different game, just totally different game.
Totally. It's apples and oranges. Now I sell username and password. Pretty nice.
Yeah. Oh, that's best. Selling the username and password. That's awesome.
Yeah, buy a nice product and sell the same product over and over again. Nothing against home service, but I love home service business. I could have done
Oh,
that
they're
the rest of my
necessary.
career. I love it. It's just
Yeah.
different.
If everybody gets in the software game, then eventually the people that paint and plumbers and all that jazz are going to be the ones making all the money.
Oh yeah, Main Street businesses are a wonderful place to buy, grow, build, and expand. If you wanted to scale, if I was going to scale a home service business, I would buy similar companies around the country, working with a broker, and then modernize it. I talked to because we have thousands and thousands of users on LiveSwitch. Majority of them are home service companies. I get a front row seat to all of that, and so I find some of those folks that are running their business in a very modern way, and I have one guy who's buying a 30-year-old electric company and modernizing it and videoing the whole thing to show people what it's like, because a lot of home service folks sometimes lag behind when it comes to some of the technology. So you just got to show it to them.
I can tell you, 1,000 times over, you're right. I have a call answering service, and we answer phones for a fair number of people in the service business or service industry. I should say a fair number of businesses, but quite a few of those businesses are 1 or 2 person shows where it's them, their van, maybe a couple of trucks. And even something as simple as some form of a digital calendar, instead of just using their notebook or the back of their hand, that's a big step for them. That it's crazy. It's insane to me how difficult it is to get people to move even a shift that you can show them this is going to make life so much easier. You're going to be more reliable, blah, 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 blah. Kind of telling them, this technology has come around, and it's not technology for technology's sake. This is actually useful technology, because someday you're going to leave that notebook at a customer's house, and you're going to have no idea where it went.
It's quite the liability.
Like, yeah, I know, but... So I get where you're coming from there. Completely understand.
Oh yeah, I talk to those folks every single day. The adoption curve is real. The good news about people that are slow to change is when they do change, they're slow to change again. It tends to stick. So there's a pro and con of everything. When you're a fast changer and you're always changing, you can have change fatigue with your team as well. If they can keep up, great. You're going to run laps around people, but also you can run so fast where you lose people in the rear view that couldn't keep up. So it's a certain type of pace for certain type of growth, but it's a full spectrum, isn't it?
Very true. Very true. Let's shift gears into LiveSwitch. So LiveSwitch is a platform. Tell me how you built LiveSwitch. Like the coding and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I can tell you from the beginning. So we looked around the world for a company to acquire rather than start from scratch again like we did the other company. Found a company out of Vancouver, British Columbia. The founders are with us still, and they had a bunch of computer scientists. And what they are doing is the nerdy talk is called WebRTC, Web Real-Time Communication. And so large companies would come and approach them, and they would do all kinds of unique things. Like if you remember during COVID when the NBA was in a bubble, or WWE wrestling where the wrestlers had TV screens throughout the arena, our company powered that. Even today, we did the Super Bowl this year and last year. You go to an MLB ballpark and scan a QR code and they put you on the Jumbotron. We power that. And how we got back into home services is I myself personally, I was actually running our product team. I was a product officer before. I like to make myself redundant, give my position away so we can grow and scale. But as I was a product officer at that time, I got to work with the chief of police in Washington, D.C. to reinvent the nation's 911 phone call, because now everybody has 3 or 4 cameras in their pocket. So we want to be able to utilize that and also produce a point of redundancy. So when you call 911, you're using telephony. The worst part of our phones is the phone, ironically. It's because it's on an ancient technology called telephony. You can remember the people plugging in, people to connect. Let me connect you. It's modernized a little bit, but not really. Okay. So what we came up with, and what I woke up one morning at 3 a.m, it's like, I think I got it. So we're able to send, while you're on call with 911, you're able to receive an SMS text. You can tap on the text, and with no app, we'll connect right into your cameras. And so we can stream that camera footage right to the police car, fire truck, or emergency medical. It's called situational awareness. So they know what they're driving into. And so as we started to do that, and we do a lot of work with the government, we were thinking, well, who else would be able to use this no app, quick to connect? And well, back to our roots of home services, I ended up connecting with a gentleman who is a big thought leader in the moving industry, like moving boxes of all things. And so he's taking a look at our technology that we invented for 911. And he says, you're sitting on a pot of gold. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, you should know this being a home service guy. What we're going to use it for is the most expensive thing I do as a business owner is I'll put one of my guys hourly wage in one of my vehicles, wear and tear on the vehicle and gas, in the hopes that we win the business, right? So the lead comes in, I send my guy out. We don't win everything. And sometimes people find out how much it is to move and they're like, I'm just going to get all my friends in 2 pizza boxes, right? So he's like, I'm going to use this for my initial discovery. When that lead comes in, whether it's to your call center or whether it's to you sitting in the truck, if you're a mom and pop, now you can send the text, and this is going to be all tuned up for third-party assistance. It's not like a FaceTime call. This is actually the reverse of a FaceTime call, meaning if I'm the homeowner and I receive the text, now I'm going to see myself large and the salesperson small. So I'll get to see, and the salesperson will have a virtual background. It's all tuned up to do a virtual estimate. And so now the customer can walk through the home, and me, or if I'm the salesperson in the call center, like, hey, I'll record everything. The entire video is recorded. I can take remote photos and tap into your camera, take high-res photos, take notes, share my screen if I need to walk you through, document, hold up your ID if I need a picture of ID. And now people are selling home services from the comfort of their call center, comfort of their truck, and it's all about speed to lead.
Very cool. Very cool. So tell me about the servers and all that jazz, because when you go from a phone call, well, I guess from a bandwidth point of view, we got text on the bottom and then voice here and audio. Now video, I'm talking a decent sized amount of bandwidth and a decent sized amount of storage, or at least relatively speaking. So was that a hurdle that you had to get over, or that was already solved with LiveSwitch originally?
For us, because we're one of only like 4 or 5 companies in the world that handle live video, and we do it at huge scale, like the Super Bowl, scale is not a problem for us. It might be a problem for other smaller technical firms, but for us, scale for us is not a problem. We can scale, and we can put our stuff on a local server. We can put stuff on AWS, Oracle, Google. We can put our stuff anywhere. But our Coca-Cola recipe is our media server. Think of the modernization of back in the day with telephony, where we're plugging in the different pieces to connect. Now we can do that in the cloud. And not only can I send audio, I can send video and data, right? So, and I can do it at point speed, incredible speed. Like for WWE wrestling, when the wrestlers did a body slam and all of the people on the TVs erupted, there was no delay. You don't want to have body slam, 3-second delay, but we're able to do it from point to point anywhere on the globe, because now people have some of their call centers overseas, like in South Africa or in Indonesia, and we need to be able, and they will do remote estimations.
Oh, interesting. It's so funny. We talk about this because I want to say fairly recently, I was digging into the statistics of YouTube, the amount of videos that are uploaded and on a daily basis, and the math of the size, I don't know what's above a terabyte, gigabyte, whatever.
Yeah.
It's almost unfathomable, at least when you look at it from memory from 10 years ago, but now I suppose they fit in the closet, whatever. It's surreal. And then I think when I get a video sent to me by my editor and I click on that thing on my local computer, I get a little spinny circle for a couple seconds and then it plays. But I go to YouTube or it seems like almost any online player to watch my own podcast that's somewhere in a server hundreds, if not thousands of miles away, and it plays in an instant. And I keep thinking, man, I feel like we got to get this technology in the box that I have locally here. It's so interesting that it's fast, even though it's farther away. It's bizarre.
Yep. The power of data centers, global data centers. You can do incredible things.
It's really crazy, really crazy. So tell me, you bought into this thing, into LiveSwitch.
Yep.
How did you figure out what you were going to pay to get in there?
Same type of thing. As we value the business, you're looking at different multiples, looking at EBITDA. We purchased the company. It was predominantly a professional services company. So people would come, and a majority of the staff as well were project managers, coders. And when you do professional services, it's very akin to home services and multiples, like 2.5 multiples if you're lucky. But that's why we bought it, so we could come in and turn it into a SaaS model, recurring revenue. They didn't have any recurring revenue, and we reconstructed it. So we wanted to find a company that we could come in and apply our learnings from the last SaaS company and put into this. And so that's why I started as the product officer first, to rebuild out the product and then remodel it. I'm the chief revenue officer, and then hand all that off, and then we scale. And so we've been scaling very quickly with this new model, and clearly the value of the company follows right behind it quickly.
Nice. So when I guess before you bought LiveSwitch, before you found LiveSwitch, were you looking for specifically a video platform, or you're looking for something more broad?
Nope, we were looking for something that we could sell username and passwords.
Okay.
So
Gotcha.
that was a broad swath of different kinds of companies. You could think of like CRM companies. This one just happened to fit a unique variable that there weren't too many companies like it. And then we thought we could turn it into a username and password SaaS company. And we were right.
All right. Very cool. And how long ago was this?
5 years ago.
Oh, so it's been a little while. Okay. Made it over the hurdle.
Yep.
What were some of the challenges that you ran into that you didn't necessarily anticipate once you bought LiveSwitch and started changing it over to the SaaS model?
What we didn't fully appreciate was how complicated live video was. WebRTC is phenomenally impossible. Like when I sat with our engineers, again, they would be speaking English to me. I'd be nodding my head. I'm like, I don't understand a word they're saying, but I know they're speaking English. It took me 2 years to figure out exactly what we had. But once we did, we recognized how special it was. And then again, through meeting with the chief of police of DC, we start connecting dots. So those first years of finding where are we going to find our recurring revenue, where are we going to find our username and password product, that was difficult and left battle scars and all kinds of stuff. Creating a product that you can scale globally is very challenging. We almost at some points didn't make it, or didn't think we were going to make it, because we couldn't figure it out. But we follow the bouncing ball, and our key is always listening to our customers. The customers have the answers to the test. If we can understand the customer experience, find the pain that we're going to solve it in a way that's affordable, effective, and fast, we can do it. And so I'm glad we did. A little over 2 years ago, we found that out, and we also found out that all of these platforms, name them Salesforce, HubSpot, SimPro, ServiceTitan, Jobber, they didn't have live video. So we turned everything we had into an open API so they could bolt it under the hood. So we are under the hood now of Jobber. We're under the hood now of ServiceTitan. We're under the hood now of HubSpot. So we are bringing, now we're staying in our lane of live video. You can purchase directly from us and get right into our platform, but now we're also going to allow you to access that platform through the window of your CRM.
Well, that's incredible. Is everything video, or does it also do pictures?
Oh yeah, we do live video. We do recorded video. We do video in extreme circumstances. Imagine you're in the middle of nowhere. Like I have one of the largest solar panel companies installers as one of our customers, and they're usually in the middle of nowhere, USA, with little to no bandwidth, sometimes none, and they'll need to document their work. And so we found a way to allow them to hit the record button, still save it in a browser, cache it in a browser, and then when it even got to the worst of internet, like 3G LTE, it still uploaded the pictures and video. No more do you need to scroll through pictures of all your family members. And if you see a lot of these construction, home service, property management companies, their personal photo libraries are littered with their work, which is a complete liability for them, for the customer, and everything. We don't want anything stored locally. So we needed to find a way to circumvent all of that and be able to take the photos, take the videos, take the pictures, upload that, and then you can do all kinds of things with them. Share them, draw on them, put them in projects, put QR codes behind them with leave behinds. And it's become like platform where you can have kiosks to connect, or a button on your website to connect, or scan a QR code to connect. And they come into play in all different ways for our businesses that we're serving using our platform. Very
cool. I am so interested in this. It sounds fascinating because I'm thinking of all the use cases. Like we answer phones for windshield repair companies, and getting the information that we need from the vehicle owner about their car, because they don't know all the sensors that they have. They get in the car, drive it, work, home, whatever, and They don't pay attention if they have lane departure or auto cruise control or automatic wipers or anything. They don't know. So we have to keep asking them for pictures to figure out by their review mirror what fancy cameras they have. And sometimes they'll take pictures where the sun is in the angle blocking. So you have this huge glare where the cameras are, so then you can't tell. And you have to say, like, hey, can you take a picture again? Or I could see this being much more productive.
Yeah. Here's what we would do. We can, on live broadcast here, tell you how to disrupt your industry right now.
Yeah.
So we do two things. First, we'd start with your call center, and we'd arm them with the ability to text anybody, whether to do a live call to walk them around that windshield, or if it's after hours or it's not convenient or the internet is in a bad spot, they can just send a text, and that person can tap on the text and take a video, again, with even low to crap internet, and it would upload right to the call center, which they could take that video and send it to anyone, the repair person, give a quote if you needed to. Additionally, what we would do is partner with anyone that's doing the replacement or fix to create a window cling. And on the window cling, like if when you get your oil change, they put one up there. Well, now you can put a window cling that would have 2 QR codes on there saying, ever have any issues with your windshield, scan here, right? And one of them would be a live connect where you'd scan it and instantly live video connect with the call center during certain hours. And the other one would be the video Dropbox where they could scan it, take the video, show them what's going on. And you're claiming every single windshield. So that's how you can just start the disruption of what you're doing.
I love that. Especially with the QR codes at the end, so that if they ever have a problem again, they don't have to think, who was that person that I had changing the windshield out? What company was that? They got it right there.
Exactly. And if they sell the car, the new owner, oh, I guess this is my window repairman.
Mm-hmm. Man, I'm even thinking way back when I had a printer and copier repair company, and we would give people little stickers that just had our phone number on there. But I can imagine this would play very well.
All of our customers are doing this. Home services, they're taking and they're marking their territory or products, right? Well, they'll put the name of their company, their phone number, and a QR code where someone can instantly take a video of any issue. So our electricians are putting it on the breaker box. Our plumbers are putting it on the water heaters, HVAC on the HVAC, garage door on the garage doors. They're claiming territories, but also, to your point, whether it's windshield, whether it's equipment, think of our irrigation systems, anything. You want to claim that because it puts your brand out there and it starts to box out Google. We try to train our companies to box out Google because the first thing people will do is go to Google and say window repair near me, right? And they'll look for the stars. And then when they start going through that, I'd rather them look on the cling as an example. Oh, that's my repair person. And then I get the first shot at the business.
Yeah. Go take care of it instead of dinking around with whatever Google search engine has at the moment. That's exactly. A moving target. Tell me, as far as marketing this to companies, how has that been, good or bad?
Oh, that's always hard. I don't care what you sell. That's
always got this new exciting thing. I'm busy.
Exactly. So after we got the aha of like, okay, this is going to work. First in the moving industry, because the guy that was like, hey, you're sitting on liquid gold. Remember, he was in the moving industry. I just humble myself like I did at the company that we took from incubator to $1 billion, the financial technology company. And I made over 100 cold calls personally to moving companies with no brand, very little assets, 2 customers, maybe. And it's going door to door, which is how I built my home service company. I start off going door to door. A lot of people like to start off going to, fill in the blank marketing, whether they're going straight to Google, Meta, X, and they start swiping their card in there, and it's a lot of burn, right? Which is fine, and at some stage there's wisdom in that. I'm not poo-pooing that. I'm just saying in the very beginning when you have no customers and a product, you want to be in scrappy mode, and unfortunately, a lot of times people will go and take VC money or PE money and dump a ton of cash on it, and their burn rates are, I can always tell when I go to a conference who's got PE and VC money. So I'm like, if that was their own money that they were burning, they would do it differently. So it takes a lot more discipline, takes a lot of, you're going to get a lot more gray hairs this route. But by the time you've effectively landed and you've gotten enough customers and you're really listening to the customer and really tweaking the product with your product team, now when you do pour that gas on the fire, you can really start to scale even faster. Okay. So that's what I love doing is scaling, experiencing 3-figure growth year over year. But you got to operate a little different when you work at hyperspeed, and not everybody can handle the ride, which is anytime I'm interviewing anybody, I'm like, have you ever worked for a hypergrowth company? Because it's not so I have to prepare them, before that. It's a fun ride, exciting ride, but I always like to, dose of truth and reality, what it means to be part of a hyper growth company.
You raised an interesting point about the marketing and just slapping your credit card down and using whatever, Facebook or Google or whatever for the ads. I was just talking to a marketing guy, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, something like that. And I told him where we want to be and where we are now. And he puts together this plan that was essentially, I don't know, it was in the neighborhood of 75% of our profit, net profit. And I'm like, hey, that's silly. And then because there's also the like, hey, can you guarantee this will work? And of course I can. Happy to take your money, have no guarantee whatsoever to speak of. And then that got me thinking, maybe this isn't something that we have to throw a credit card at. Maybe this is something we have to be a little bit more strategic, or a lot more strategic about. Because we have the time to take some actions. We have the bandwidth as far as people goes. Maybe it's not just necessarily a money problem, or a problem that can be solved with money. So it's interesting that you're talking about that. We got to find different ways to grow outside of just paying for ads, hoping for the best.
That's right. You need to, if you're going to pay and you're going to look for the shortcut in the line, you better be right, or you're going to burn money quick.
Right.
And, and we all chase it. I'm just as guilty. I've put my credit card in that machine before just to burn it up, right? You better know it's an amplifier. If you're terrible, it's going to amplify how terrible you are. If you're spot on the money, it'll amplify how spot on the money you are. So it's just, and they'll always, I always call them false prophets with PROFITS. They got no money. They'll sell you the world and happy to take your money, but then you can't be guaranteed. And nobody wants to work on pay per performance. I haven't found a marketing company that wants to work on pay per performance. I'm like,
no,
if you can
they
perform
their services,
I'll sell it. My team will sell it, and then we'd be happy to write you a commission on performance. No. You got to give them a retainer. You got to give them all the upfront money with no guarantees. I'm like, well, I'm not doing that. Burn me a couple times, which I have been. I'm over that. I don't need that. But yes, scaling, marketing, growing is every business's challenge.
Totally true. I always joke. So my printer repair company was called Doc Jams way back when. And I used to joke with people that I'm a doctor that'll actually fix your stuff, because I don't want to fix your stuff. You're not going to pay me. Where a doctor, they may or may not fix your stuff, and you really don't have the option. They still charge you regardless of the outcome. Yeah. They might even charge you more if they broke it.
That's right. And that's why for our stuff, I put a 60-day money-back guarantee. You'll get every single dollar back if we are not solving your problem and you have 2 months. Like if you've given me money, I haven't earned it until you see your value. And people like simple, people like fast, and people like effective. You miss any of those, it's you're not gonna hyperscale.
Fair, fast, simple, and effective. I love it. Tell me a story about setup, because you got these guys that are your clients that are not necessarily the most tech savvy in the world, probably don't even have the time, even if they did have the knowledge. So how do you get them to go from essentially zero to offering this service for their clients?
Yep. And this is where you've got to spend a ton of your time simplifying, getting to those first principle thinking, right? The beauty for myself and my partner is we used to own home service companies. I used to live on a ladder. So I know what it's like when people affectionately call my guys knuckle draggers. I'm like, maybe, but I think it's a problem with the engineers. Like I make fun of our coders and engineers. I'm like, you guys all have soft hands. You've never spent a day on a ladder. So you're going to come in and engineer for people on a ladder and you've never been on a ladder. It's not going to go well. It's like men designing female products and vice versa, right? Usually it can go. I'm not saying it can't. I'm not saying a coder can't figure it out. I'm not saying you can't figure this out. But the beauty on my end is I knew what tools worked really well in my business when I was on the ladder. One, back in the day, I'm dating myself, we had these things called CB radios in my truck. Right?
Oh, yeah.
You pick up, and
the Bandit, right?
That's it. CB radios. And then came along the cell phone, and then came along this thing called the Nextel walkie-talkie. Which you talk to any
I remember those.
Yes, you talk to any home service guy who's been around. Why did we like it? It's one button touch and we're instantly voice connecting, right? It's easier than, because back then you had to remember phone numbers, right? Now you don't have to. So we had to come up with something as easy as a Nextel walkie-talkie, something that I could train the quote unquote knuckle draggers to do, which is not even true. They can learn and have learned my stuff in less than 2 minutes. If they can send a text, we say it's so easy your mama can do it, right? So literally, if you can send a text, if your guy can't send a text, that's a whole different ball of wax. But if you can send a text, which every person in this country can do, they just put the phone number in, hit go. The receiver, all they have to do is tap a link, and you're on. There's no app in between. There's nothing to download. There's no extra software. This is not a CRM. This is for speed and simplicity. So we design for simplicity. It's like when Google first came out with just a search bar, and they still have that to this day, right? And they're fearing adding anything else. We live in that same reality of like, if you want to answer a phone call, it needs to be a swipe. You want to start your truck, you need to tap a button or turn a key. We like one button fixes. And so that's what we designed to, one button fixes.
I love that. I wish my car had that. I saw a meme that said, how come we can't look at our phone and text while we drive? But if I want to adjust the fan on the climate control in my car, I got to go 3 levels deep, and that's okay. I'm like, I miss knobs. I miss being able to just turn a knob without even having to look. You just know it's there, and muscle memory.
One button fixes. We like one button things. So designed to have a one button fix if you're in software.
That knuckle dragging thing is it's interesting and rude, because I always think in a zombie apocalypse, nobody's going to be like, quick, where's our insurance broker? Where's our programmer? They're going to want the person that knows how to work a hammer and a drill and stuff like that.
That's right. That's right.
To survive. So
the Main Street guys, man.
Planner.
The truth is we all kind of need each other for different things to fill, because, I don't think the knuckle dragger wants to code what we're coding either. So, and just like my guys and my coders don't want to hop on ladders.
Right. Fair. Totally fair. Tell me, AI seems to be mentioned everywhere. So I suppose in the software game, I have to ask you, is AI yet involved with what you have going on?
Yes, but I don't subscribe to AI being the next coming, right? I'll go, and I was just down in Orlando, Florida, speaking at a conference to a bunch of home service owners. And what I like to do on stage is cold call businesses, acting like a customer, live on stage, right? So I happened to be in the audience were a lot of power washing companies. And I was in Orlando. So I just Googled, just like a customer would. I said, let's pretend I just got a new house. I got a big party tomorrow. I got plenty of money. I just want someone to come out this afternoon and wash my house so everything looks awesome for my guests. So that was my persona. So what did I do? I went to Google. I said, power washers near me in Orlando. And I started with the first one that had 766 5-star reviews. So I called it. It rang about 8 times. It went to voicemail. They didn't even pick up the phone. I know that hurts you because you do a call center. I mean, it's painful.
What's the name of that company? We got a potential client here.
Well, listen to what happened. So, the next one, the next one I call, I just went right down the list, 566. Up pops the AI robot. Hi, welcome to so-and-so power washing. How can we help you? Hey, I'd like to speak to a representative. I need something done today, and I got plenty of money. Oh, that's great to hear. But before I transfer you to a salesperson, I need to collect a few simple information. I said, the simple information you need is I got lots of money. I need a power wash. I'm in Orlando, and I want it right this second. Transfer me now or I'm hanging up. Well, thank you again for your interest. But before I transfer you, hung up. All right. Then I asked the entire audience, who here, their number one salesperson is an AI robot agent? Nobody. AI agents are good for simple, dumb questions, not getting money or helping someone when they're extremely pissed off. When you're extremely pissed off, what do we say? We want to talk to a person.
Agent, operator, yeah.
Yep, and we want the head person in charge when we're pissed, right? Or if I got money, I want the Ritz-Carlton experience. I want the white glove experience. So yes, AI can be practical and tactical, and of course we're using it. But we have to understand where it is today, and we have to understand our customers, and we need to understand the customer experience and journey, because all customers are not built the same, right? We bucket our customers into 3 buckets. Well, we don't, but our customer does, right? Bucket number 1 is you're educated, got lots of money, maybe it's a referral, like you should close this deal in your sleep, right? And they want it now. They just like Age of Amazon, they want it overnight. On the other side of the spectrum is a person who has no business calling you. Like the people that called a mover, they're like, how much is that? I'm just going to get 2 pizzas and my friends, right? So you want to eliminate that. And then your middle bucket is the ones where you're going to have to put in a little work. You do discovery, you see, you're like, I think there is money here. It is worth driving out, drive out, do it and close it, right? But the 2 ends of the spectrum, the educated one and the person who has no business, you want to get that quick. Speed to lead, race to the face. Okay. So we really start educating that way. And then you have AI come alongside of that experience, whether it's translating English into Spanish or English into different, or Spanish and English or whatever it might be, for that type of, or monitoring the entire conversation to give an output or to come as a co-pilot, to do measurements, all kinds of things that AI is very powerful at, and it's still coming alongside. But we're not anti-AI. But we do believe in a human connection, and humans so far still have the highest close rates to cash there is in existence.
Fair. Totally fair. It's interesting because we get asked a lot in the call answering world if we're worried that we're going away. And I always answer, maybe in a few years, 5 years, maybe whatever, who knows. But right now, I feel like it's 80 to 90% good. But that 10% is so huge that it's like flying to Hawaii and they're like, we can get you 100 miles shy of Hawaii from any destination. And I'm like, well, 100 miles shy of Hawaii is in the middle of the ocean, so that's not worth the trip. I'm not that good of a swimmer as far as 100 miles goes. So it's got to get that extra bump until, like you said, you do the super simple stuff. Sure. Got it.
Yep. And that's, I think what you're going to see happen in call centers is the involvement of using video, right? Because that'll be the next layer of differentiation, be the next layer of also being able to upcharge. You're just going to have to get people who are willing to be on calls now willing to be on video. That's going to be the challenge for the call center. But once they're on video, boom.
Perfect segue, because I want to ask you about this, because with the call answering service that we have, this was during the pandemic, 2020, 21. We were playing with some video software. And we were trying to get it to clients, or I was trying to lay it out for some clients. But the pushback that I got was not from the clients. It was from my crew who are working from home, and they're like, whoa, 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 whoa. Now we got to talk to some weirdo on video? And they went down this rabbit hole of, oh my gosh, we're going to have all these creeps reach out. We're going to have all this blah, 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 blah. And I tried to counter, but I was on full defense thinking, okay, who in the world is going to find this video link and then do something crazy that you don't want? And that's going to run into an issue. I'm like, 1, you have control over accepting the video. 2, you have control over ending the video. So, there's a lot of things for control. But I guess that said, I got a lot of pushback. So I want to talk to you about that and see if you've gotten pushback at all from that regard, being on the other end of the video.
100% pushback. But here's what happens, is if you get the pushback, you understand the pushback, and you hear them. Then you say, well, who in this room would like to earn more money? Just one person. Anyone here want to earn more money? Oh, a hand flies up. I'll do it. Great. Because you can pass that cost on to your person you service. Say, hey, look, we're starting to put video capability into the call center. Why would you want video? It closes at an exponentially higher rate than voice or chat. Okay. And we can also record that entire video and send it to your on-property folks. And so here's the other thing about the bad apples. The bad apples like to stay in the shadows. And you know what video does? It lights them up. It really exposes somebody. Now, if it's a bad apple, everything's recorded. It's SOC 2 certified. It's safer than a phone call. Okay. So we have Department of Defense and things that use this kind of stuff, right? So now you're arming them. And then also it's protecting your caller, it's protecting the customer, and it's protecting your client. And now because you have the NFL instant replay, it's going to do a lot for you. 1, since everything's recorded, it can be used for training. Since everything's recording, it can be used for disputes. And the call center people don't, you're watching over me until the bank error goes in their favor. Like, I wasn't swearing at the customer. I didn't say that. Well, let's check the record. Oh, you're right. That was on the customer. You did a great job. Right. And so what we found is it elevates that position. I don't know if you've ever worked in a call center before. I have. Okay. And I used to manage call centers. that is a high turnover job. Why?
Yeah, universally, yes.
University can
Luckily,
be.
we're cool now.
Yeah.
But
We're
yeah,
getting, yeah, it
yeah,
can be
in that
high
industry, oh yeah.
turnover job, but also people are looking for career ladders. Well, now you can start implementing additional pathways for career success, and your end customer who you're selling to, you're offering even a higher level service that they're going to value by showing turning of all of the things we just talked about. So it's an opportunity, really. And then with all of these agentic AIs, you're going to need to find more ways to compete with that. And agentic AI struggles with live video.
Oh, totally. I can definitely see how that would be a problem. Yeah, but you're right. You're right. I can definitely see the competition, the AI competition coming along. We even introduced AI voice, so I tell people, I guess the first conversation that we have is it is not an apples to apples replacement for a human. It's just not. It can do things. It's a tool, but this is a Fisher Price tricycle compared to a, I don't know, Ferrari truck, whatever you want to, whatever vehicle suits your industry best. We'll get you to A to B, sure, ish.
Exactly.
But yeah, we'd like tell them you got to be careful what you're buying here and understand what you're buying to know that this is not the end all be all, completely replacement for a human.
That's right. And everybody's very focused on the AI piece. I'm like, you should be just as focused on the video piece. The video piece, you're going to watch the great takeover of this. It's already happening. It's already well underway. So you're going to get caught behind if you don't offer this, whether you're at home service, whether you're a call center. Speed to lead is real. Race to the face is real. And people buy trust at the end of the day. And a human face elevates that level of trust. Ask people how much they trust AI compared to trusting a human right now.
Right. Wow.
Boom.
Tell me a story about pushback that you received from potential clients.
Yep. When we talk about potential clients, you're talking about clients for LiveSwitch or clients of people that are clients of clients?
Clients for LiveSwitch.
Okay.
So the power washers and the lawn mowers and the painters and stuff like
It's
that.
what we've been talking about. Just, I've got to be on video.
All right.
That's it. It comes down. It's really that. It's not the cost. The stuff is very affordable. That hasn't been our pushback. It's not time to implementation. It's one button. The only thing that comes down to it is, do I have people willing to put their face on a video?
All right. So it wasn't just my company. Okay.
That's what it is. That's what it comes down to.
All right. It's so interesting because I was not smart enough to anticipate that type of pushback.
Yep.
We even did add I forget what we added for a bonus. It wasn't nothing though. I'm gonna say it was like $1 a call, something like that. I thought it was impressive, but I'm the guy that always wants to chase and grow. And the crew that we had, now that I'm thinking about this, maybe it was because of the crew that we had back then. It was a different employee base during the pandemic. I mean,
yeah, things change, and then you can also work commercial agreements with your end customers. Like, hey, if my guy can close a deal there and it's to the best of what you would have done, can you give them a spiff?
Mm-hmm.
So it's not just a $1 call. Now we're talking about incredible opportunity. And, sometimes more money makes people do things that they want to grow in.
That is true. It's a motivator.
Usually
for most people, not necessarily all.
Not everybody.
Yeah. I assume that's what they're doing here. They're not just wanting to hang out with me and the callers that we have.
No, you got to pay them to show up still. Last I checked.
What do you see as next for LiveSwitch as you grow?
Oh, just expansion across more and more industries. We continue to pick up more and new industries, from property management to self-storage to all different kinds of home services, now to construction, of course, emergency response. Not just, we're starting to get international customers. We got plenty to do, and to scale into. As far as the product goes, continued AI implementation, continued, because we spend majority of our time with our customers and end users, we're always getting really novel ideas right from I always say the customer has the answer to the test. So as long as we're listening, we remain open. Like we were just building out something today based on a customer request. So, we build that into the product, and because we don't have an app, we can instantly deploy it quickly. So we're continuing to develop our platform and develop our verticals.
Very cool. Tell me about the company, your partners.
Yep, partners.
Okay. How did you find them, and how is that relationship going?
Well, it's over a 20-year relationship, right? We met each other from coming out of home service companies, and then we made that first company go from nothing to a multi-billion-dollar company. That'll get you connected pretty fast, and also connect you to other people that want to go on the ride again. Like one of our sales guys, I hired him at the last company 20 years ago, and now he's on for another round. In fact, a lot of people are on for another round because we've proven we can do this before, and we're already on the way to doing it again. So we continue to bring more people back that we work with. Of course, we're always open to new faces and names, which we bring new faces and names in all the time. We're aggressively hiring. And so, it forges a bond, and especially the last 5 years when we had to really crank through and figure out how do we, start selling usernames and passwords again, there's a lot of friction in that, right? So we have different ideas, we're very forward. We don't hold back, and that friction is really helpful when you are trying to get the boat off the dock or go to another tier of growth. You need that healthy friction, and we battle in all the right ways internally. To go.
Tell me a little bit about the battle, because I understand it happens in every relationship. So I'm just curious about what you've had to deal with specifically.
So we have competing priorities. We had competing products. We're red-blooded Americans. We're competitive, right? So one of the partners puts out one product and it doesn't go as fast as my product, right? And in the last company, their product went faster than mine. So there's that competitive edge. But you're testing, right? You're pivoting quick. You're changing fast. You're listening for the money. You're listening for the pain points, and then you're arguing like, "Look, I can smell it. I can see it." But until you actually see it, like I'm a visionary, right? So I feel like a lot of times I can see to the future and then bring people along the ride. But not everybody sees in the future. They want to see the facts, Jack. So they want to see the money coming in. So when it was me and just myself with my product, I got attention when I started selling, and all right, let's pull another sales guy over there. More selling, until the fact that this product became our premier offering, right? So, but it was arm wrestling. It was like, I don't think so, or I don't believe you, or show me the money, or all that good stuff. Where we are meritocracy. We let the money do the talking. The best ideas will win. But if we're arrogant and we think about ourselves more highly than the others, and we don't have room for other people to win, you could be snuffing out your best opportunity because of your arrogance and pride. So you got to watch out for that. It's two sides of the ball.
Fair. Totally fair. Tell me a story about the nonprofit you mentioned. I'm going to say the inmate one, Freedom.
Yeah, inmates to entrepreneurs.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, we even have folks in our organization now that went through the program. It's beautiful.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you go and watch the ABC show Free Enterprise, you just get the tissue box ready. They're incredible stories. We believe in second chances. It's always something we've believed in. We've all personally needed second chances, my partners and I. So this is just a way that I can't hardly even go to the graduations anymore. It's just so emotional, watching people and coming out of really challenging situations and backgrounds, knowing that they are more than capable of contributing in a way that is meaningful to them. I mean, as small as a coffee shop, or the construction company, or whatever it might be that they choose to do. Those stories are incredible, and then they end up watching those companies grow and employ other people, and they become these bosses. And I'm telling you, more people that I've met, when I bring up these stories, they open up. And some of these guys have very, very profitable big businesses where they'll be like, you know what? My past had, incarceration in it, type of thing, right? Where they open up. And so I've met and shared more incredible stories of people where they had a second chance and they just made young people choices or bad decisions, right, in that moment. But they've totally changed, and it makes their story stronger, and it makes the impact even that much stronger because of, you rise up through the ashes, so to speak.
Yeah, very true. There's no one that is perfect. And I volunteered with Big Brothers Big Sisters. My little brother is now in prison, getting out in a couple months. And I go to visit him every couple months. And it's interesting chatting with him because I tell him, man, you got all the time in the world and you got 3 hots and a cot, right? So you don't have to worry about rent or anything like that. So you're essentially retired just within these walls. So what are you doing to learn and educate and improve yourself so that when you get out, you can actually do something, whatever that something is, that's going to contribute to society as well as contribute to yourself. And it's interesting watching as he has progressed throughout his, I don't know what his sentence was. I think it was 3 years. Just to move along. So something like this, I feel, would be very beneficial.
Oh yeah,
for
there's
him.
great organizations out there and great folks that'll give second chances and help you get out of the cycle. Sometimes it's a cycle and a repeating one, and it's unfortunate. And the way the judicial system works, sometimes it's challenging for certain folks. So,
No doubt.
it's a full measure, but we just sit back, try to give back the best we can, and that's it. It's a very much a labor of love.
Is that local to your area, or is that a national program?
National. We were actually in the White House getting some awards a few years back because of the work it's done, and that's why it's become an ABC television show. Tons of press. It's been a very successful program.
Nice. Very cool. James, we got to wrap this up. I want to get a little bit of information to the listeners here. Let's start with the website for LiveSwitch.
Yeah, website is liveswitch.com, LIVEWSITCH.com. And when you get there, if you want to get to me, when you click on demo, you can circumvent everyone. If you're listening to this podcast or watching, you can come right to me. All you got to do is ask for James. I want to talk to James. I'll take care of anybody personally listening to this podcast. Or you can come find me on LinkedIn. I live on LinkedIn there as well. James Hatfield. Reach out. I'll personally respond to anybody who reaches out.
Nice. Very cool. And then tell me really quick, is there a website for that nonprofit?
Inmates to Entrepreneurs.
All right.
Just Google it. You'll find us quickly.
Very cool. Very cool. Thank you so much for being on the show, James.
Thanks for having me.
This has been Authentic Business Adventures, the business program that brings you the struggle stories and triumphant successes of business owners across the land. My name is James Kateman, and Authentic Business Adventures is brought to you by Calls on Call, offering call answering and receptionist services for service businesses across the country on the web at callsoncall.com. And of course, the Bold Business Book, a book for the entrepreneur in all of us, available wherever fine books are sold. If you're listening to this on the web, if you could do us a huge favor, give us a big old thumbs up, subscribe, and of course, share it with your entrepreneurial friends, especially those friends that may be in the service business and they need to get, what are we doing here? We're closing more deals. We're getting more details from our clients, and generally speaking, saving some time and making some money, which is always a good thing, right? We'd like to thank you, our wonderful listeners, as well as our guest, James Hatfield of LiveSwitch. James, can you tell us that website one more time?
Liveswitch.com, LIVESWITCH.com.
Doesn't get easier than that. Past episodes can be found morning, noon, and night at the podcast link found at drawincustomers.com. Thank you for joining us. We will see you next week. I want you to stay awesome. And if you do nothing else, enjoy your business.